Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kawabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. They jumped in the car and made their way to the nearby mountain. An abandoned building sat atop it, overlooking the city, that according to rumours, used to house a group of delinquent boys who killed themselves. The road up was only wide enough to fit one car, and the drive seemed to take forever. As it came into view, the three of them trembled. Hearing about haunted buildings and ghost spots was one thing, but seeing it directly with their own eyes was another. They nervously stepped out of the car and into the building. Thick graffiti coated the walls, and an unseasonable chill settled over them. Rubbish littered the floor, as did used mattresses. The place lived up to its reputation. She could feel eyes looking at her from all over, even though they were the only ones there. The hairs on her arms stood on end. "Let's get out of here," she said. They'd only just arrived, but she'd already seen enough. She feared that if they stayed any longer, they really might see something they shouldn't. They came, they saw, that was enough. As they drove in silence back down the mountain, she heard a woman's voice just outside the car. Her heart skipped a beat. She turned around, but nobody was there. "Did you hear that just now?" her boyfriend asked as he drove. She and her friend nodded. Nobody spoke the rest of the drive down, and as they pulled into a convenience store, her friend realized his phone was missing. They tried calling it, but they got a message that the phone was out of range. Reluctantly, they climbed back into the car and drove back up the mountain. They found his phone inside the building, even though he claimed he never took it out of his pocket. Either way, they got back in the car and started their descent for the second time that night. Again, they heard it. The woman's voice. Nobody said a word the entire way home, although they knew they'd all heard the exact same thing. Kappa Dojo sits atop Himoriyama, a 183-meter-high mountain in Sanuki City, Kagawa Prefecture. It's located next to an NTT West Japan radio tower and offers a 360-degree view of the surrounding areas and ocean. Its official name is Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo, and it was opened by kendo master Ikeda Kotaro as, you guessed it, a kendo dojo. High school students in the area also used the building as a boarding house, sleeping on the first floor, while the second functioned as the dojo. A stone monument at the entrance to the building states, "Open your eyes, people. Open your eyes and return to love. A life without love is filled with darkness. Befriend those who will pray with you until there are none left fighting in our town. Wake up, people. Wake up and return to sweat. A society without sweat degrades. Work with those who will pray with you until there are none left neglected in our town." When Ikeda opened the dojo, it said he planted 5,000 cherry blossom trees on the mountain peak and the road leading down. This remains the only area in town that locals can see cherry blossoms during spring, bringing them to the mountain regularly each year. This planting was said to have taken place over a period of 4 years, starting in 1968 and finishing in 1972. There are no public records for when the building finished construction, but if the story is true, that would mean the dojo was built in the late 1960s or early 70s. It's unknown when the building was abandoned, but by the time of the Haikyo, abandoned building boom, of the early 2000s, it was already well known. So, why is the building called Kappa Dojo when its official name is Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo? This is where things get muddy, and it's also how the building came to be known as a ghost spot in the first place. For you see, Kappa Dojo is a real place. It's just not this one. Roughly 25 kilometers west of Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo, you'll find the real Kappa Dojo, a special education facility in Takamatsu City. It should be noted that this kappa doesn't refer to the yokai, but rather means proclamation. It opened in 1974, around the same time as Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo, as a dojo for young Zen monks in training. In 1978, it opened its doors to troubled young men and functioned as a rehabilitation center, and then, a few months later, it opened a female dorm as well. Over the years, there were rumors that a group of young men, unable to deal with the abuse they suffered at the facility, committed group suicide in the men's bathroom. In 1988, a young woman also slipped from a rock and hit her head, killing her on site. This was a time before the internet was as widespread as it is today, so confirming information was much harder. Young men were known to stay in Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo's lodgings. When people heard the stories of what supposedly happened at Kappa Dojo, it appears the locations got confused and people assumed what happened in Takamatsu City actually happened at Sanuki City instead. They were both dojos where young men went to stay, after all. An easy mistake to make. As a result, people started calling Shuyodan Himoriyama Dojo Kappa Dojo, and that remains its popular name today. Stories from the real Kappa Dojo transferred over, and because this particular building was abandoned, they quickly turned into ghost stories. The spirits of those boys who took their own lives now haunt Himoriyama, and that woman who slipped and hit her head also wanders the mountain alone, crying for help. Later stories claim that a bunch of youths also jumped to their deaths from the roof, and a voice inside can be heard telling people to come here. As more time passed, further stories developed about the supposed atrocities that took place at this harsh dojo. Rumors claimed that some children went mad because of the strict nature of the facility, while others even died because of corporal punishment. One child supposedly had their mouth sealed shut, perhaps ironically, considering the building's name, and this eventually killed them. Another, unable to take it anymore, lost his mind and killed everybody in the building at the time. It was because of that the building was left abandoned. There is, of course, no truth to any of these rumors, and it's likely that the building was abandoned after the instructor Ikeda passed away. The dojo isn't the easiest place to reach, after all, and as the cities surrounding it developed, further options undoubtedly became available for those looking to train in kendo and other sports. Kappa Dojo is an interesting example of how ghost spots developed pre-internet, and how, even after it became a common feature in everyday homes, the clearly fake stories refused to go away. But what do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.